Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're taking another look at construction on the Surrey Langley Skytrain project in July of 2025. For those of you who are new to this project, it's a 16-kilometer extension of the Expo line from King George Station in downtown Surrey to downtown city of Langley. The elevated route will have 8 new stations, costing just under $6 billion Canadian. Major construction officially started in November of 2024, with an expected opening date in late 2029. Starting at the end of the Expo line, just east of King George Station, some utilities work is underway in the center of the road where the guideway will run. It appears to be power related. Just down Fraser Highway at 140th Street, it's clear why the road has been fully closed since April. A lot of work has happened at Green Timbers Station. The 5 main columns and bents are nearing completion. The bent is the transverse piece that sits on top of the column. Green Timbers is unique as it's the only station that's directly over a road. Let's take a closer look at its structure. Below the road, each column has 2 piles. The piles are tied together with a pile cap that sits on top of them, but below the road surface. The column is connected to the center of the pile cap, evenly distributing the load. The column supports the bent, which will support the guideway and platforms. A little over halfway up the column are these wedges. This is where the concourse level beams will be attached. The concourse level runs about 2/3 the length of the station. Escalators, elevators, and stairs will connect the 2 levels together. And then the concourse continues over to the north side of the street where the ground level entrance will be. The westernmost column is covered in scaffolding. That's to support the work area while crews assemble the form for the bent. We can see workers assembling the form. This stretch of Fraser Highway between 140th Street and 96th Avenue is scheduled to reopen at the start of November 2025. Heading east, many guideway column piles have been built. Fraser Highway is mostly down to 1 lane in each direction for the whole route now, as crews build more guideway foundations. Here, the guideway will run down the center of the road before transitioning to the north side just before 122nd Street Station. At 152nd Street Station, all 5 station supports are now complete. We can clearly see on the bents where the precast guideway segments will mate up. The taped off holes are where the steel cables for the post tensioning will run. The one wider bent is where the platforms are the widest to accommodate stairs and escalators from the platform level to the mezzanine below. Crews are working on assembling a lifting gantry. This one has been named the Surrey Sprinter. It will launch in August and head towards King George Station, lifting just over 900 segments along its way. It goes together like a big Lego kit. We can see all the pieces laid out, ready to be assembled. Several guideway columns heading west have been completed, with more down the line in various stages of construction. On the east side, several are complete, with others in forms. From here, the line will be on the north side of Fraser Highway to about 168th Street. On our way to the next station, more utilities work is underway in the westbound lanes. Looking east, trees are being trimmed to make room for the guideway. Fleetwood Station has popped up over the past few months. All 5 station supports are up, with forms being removed on the final 2 bents. We can see rebar ends on top of this one sticking out that will be used to tie in the platform beams. No gantry will be launched here, but one from the east will pass through later. Station construction has been staggered across the line. The ones where gantries will be launched were built first. Others, such as Fleetwood, were built later, but still in time for arriving gantries. By scheduling this way, fewer resources were needed as machines and equipment could be moved from site to site when needed. Overall, it saves cost and doesn't negatively impact the timeline. The area to the west of the station has been cleared, and piles for the guideway columns constructed. Further west, we find another pile gang consisting of a large track drill rig that uses reusable pile casings to construct guideway foundations. A large crawler crane is used to move the casings around, as well as the rebar cages for the foundation. There are several gangs like this along the line building column foundations. At Bakerview 166th Street Station, a major milestone has been achieved. The first of 4 gantries has launched. This one, known as the Fleetwood Flyer, will build the stretch between here and 152nd Street Station. It will lift just over 1,000 segments into place. The very first segment on the line was lifted on July 15th. The gantry weighs about 440 tons, with each precast segment weighing about 28 tons. It has 3 supports that sit on top of bents and guideway columns. 2 are always in contact while the third is moved. It moves along like an inchworm, just without arching its back. The pair of yellow steel girders are the main structure. Everything else slides along them. The blue trolley crane sits up top and moves along on rails. It lifts the segments into place and holds them while they're secured with another set of cables. Then, the sections are bonded to each other to create a span. This photo taken the following day shows just how quickly a span can be assembled. The precast segments are trucked to site on lowboy trailers that won't be hitting any overpasses. The yellow clamps are attached to them before being lifted into place. We'll see a lot more of this process in detail over the next few years as the guideway is built. Looking at the station bents, the easternmost one has some interesting sections protruding from it. We're not sure what these are for, and no other station seems to have them. And looking at the station render, it isn't obvious what they're for. Columns to the west are being formed. We can see rebar cages for the columns sticking out of the ground. To the east, several columns are formed. Tie rods connect and hold the forms in place, secured by lock blocks. The guideway runs north here for a couple more blocks before transitioning back to the south side to cross the ALR. Work continues on the extra deep piles in the agricultural land reserve. Due to poor soil conditions, some piles need to be installed 90 meters deep to provide adequate support. On the west side, the first few columns are taking shape with their crossheads. There's a full second set of piling equipment on this side. East of Highway 15, another set of piles is going in. Piles are in sets of 2 as the guideway will be up to 4 tracks wide to accommodate a pocket track, switches, and a connecting track to the new yard, OMC 5. It appears it will be built like the section of guideway in Coquitlam for OMC 4 with parallel spans. OMC 5 is being built on former ALR land that is far from optimal. The site will require approximately 3 years of preloading and ground preparation before construction can begin. The site will be cleared starting later in July. It'll then take 15 months to haul in all the sand and gravel required for the preload. The site will then be ready for construction in mid-2029. Moving along to Hillcrest 184th Street Station, all 5 station supports are complete. Crews are working on assembling the first of 2 gantries that will be launched from here. The Langley launcher will be first, heading east to Langley City Center Station. It's expected to launch later in July. Keep in mind, this was filmed on July 15th, but the gantry can be quickly assembled, so we'll see if that happens on time. It will lift about 1,350 segments into place during its trip. Gantry number 4 is the Clayton Clipper, and will head west from here through the ALR to Bakerview 166th Street Station. It'll lift about 1,150 segments and will launch sometime in September. Crews are preparing the ground on the south side of the station where a large crane will be placed to help lift the gantry onto the station supports. Guideway columns are popping up in both directions. To the west, another pile gang is at work. We can see the segments of reusable pile casings resting on the street. Further along, a concrete pumper truck is pouring into a pile foundation. To the east, guideway columns are in various stages of construction. Between 184th Street and Clayton Station, the route has been cleared and prepared for guideway construction. At Clayton Station, crews are finally at work on the first station piles. Although it's hard to gain access to the site, as the north side sidewalk is closed and the back side is protected by thick forest. We can see the pile rig with auger bit working on removing material from inside the pile casing. There's a line of dump trucks here for utilities work on the road. We can see an open trench line where crews are working. East of the station, the laydown yard has more forms, ready to be used to build columns. Willowbrook Station has seen a bit of progress since last time. The final remains of the White Spot building have been removed. All the asphalt has been removed, and a wider area is fenced off. There are rumors that a very large redevelopment is being planned for the adjacent mall. It would make sense given the potential for housing and commercial use, but no concrete information has been made available yet. Finally, we arrive at Langley City Center Station, where the story is piles, piles, and more piles. Foundations for the station and the last 250 meters of guideway are under construction. It's a different layout here compared to other stations, as it's the only one to feature a center platform. The guideway is also different, with several switches before the station and hill tracks at the end for storing out-of-service trains. In a little over 4 years, we should be able to take the train here to enjoy all the community amenities that downtown Langley has to offer. And that concludes our look at construction on the Surrey Langley Skytrain project in July of 2025. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.